Need a reminder of the good in the world? How about ways that you can make a difference, all while following your passions? Then you've come to the right place. Here on Be the Good with Kate, I have the honor of speaking with people from across the globe and such a wide array of backgrounds, all with the common bond of following what lights them up while making the world a better place along the way. My name is Kate Chericello Tente, and I am so grateful you are here. If something in this episode resonates with you, please reach out. I absolutely love hearing from you. And if you're willing to spread the word, sharing these good news moments with others, a share on social, comment, review, or a text to a friend about Be the Good with Kate, all goes such a long way. Thank you. I've learned so much from all the guests on Be the Good with Kate over the years, and I hope you leave here with some nuggets that stay with you too. Here's to making the world a better place in any way, shape, or form. Welcome back to Be the Good with Kate. Today I have with me Dr. Chloe San Miguel. She is the research manager for the KindLab at kindness.org. She works on projects that help to deepen our scientific, psychological understanding on the causes and consequences of kindness. Today, Chloe is here to share more about her personal story, the work she does at kindness.org, and the science behind kindness that underpins it all. So, Chloe, thank you for being here with me.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Kate. It's great to be here.
Oh, my pleasure. I knew that kindness.org had to get on this show, and I'm so glad that our schedules aligned. You tell me, please, the why and the how that kindness.org came to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Kindness.org has been around for a while now, founded by Jacqueline Lindsay, our CEO, and sort of my direct boss, Dr. Oliver Scott Curry, was involved from the get-go of that. So he's a professor out of Oxford, and he studied morality. It just sort of came out of them two coming together and the brainchild of that. And I was lucky enough to join a couple years ago to just help Dr. Oliver Scott Curry with all of the research that we're doing. So it's a lot of psychological studies, surveys, and I was set up really well to help manage all that, all the data and surveys. So that's where I
How
came
did
in.
they know they needed to find someone like you? Like my question is more, they decided they needed an organization about kindness, and then they're hiring you for research. What happened in between there?
Yeah, absolutely. So we had a variety of interns coming through to help a lot of people in sort of the psychological research space, helping with that. There's a lot to do. We're doing a lot of science. It's a lot for one person. And sort of in academic models, you usually have like a lab, a whole team of grad students at various stages to help you with your research. And so it's sort of emulating that model of the academic research lab. So they knew they needed to bring somebody in who had also been doing research recently. Familiar with all the new developments in research science. So I was just finishing up my PhD when I saw the job listing, and it was for a research assistant at the time, which I was a little bit overqualified for, I think. But the organization was just I just was so drawn to it that I was like, I have to apply. And so it was just a part-time situation at first. And then it just sort of worked out beautifully. Sort of the person who was doing a similar role to me was leaving as I was getting more time as I finished up my dissertation and my PhD. So I was able to just take over more and more. And then I just sort of stumbled into it, and now I never want to leave.
Well, how awesome is that? And great thing to remind people too of that you never know, right? You maybe feel like, oh, should I take the part-time job or should I take the job, fill in the blank. That feels good, but maybe isn't quite what I envisioned, because look at where you are already in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, absolutely. It was totally serendipitous, which seems to happen a lot at kindness.org specifically. We just sort of happen upon the perfect people for the role, whatever it is.
That's so good. It's like that karma thing, right? That's great. You're doing good work and it's coming back. Hey, what do people say, or how do they react when you tell them what you do?
Yeah, there's a lot of sort of confusion around it. They're like, what? You work for a kindness organization? And, there's lots of nonprofits that are focused on kindness and promoting kindness and encouraging people to be kind. And I think that where we're unique is that sort of scientific basis, and that we do put so much time and energy into doing these psychology experiments that are otherwise being done mostly by academic institutions, by labs who study pro-social behavior and altruism and stuff. That's usually pretty reserved for academia. And so it's definitely unique and interesting. And I do find myself sort of doing some weird stuff every now and then. Like, I was able to give a presentation just recently to a makeup company who we're doing like a workshop for of how to be kind. But when I tell my friends, oh yeah, I mostly do data and analysis, and then also I'm talking to this makeup company, and they're like, what on earth do you even do? So
all
it is
over the place.
That's
really neat.
Yeah.
How do they decide, kindness.org that is, how do they decide where to focus or who to reach out to, or do most people come to them?
Most people, most people come to us, I find. Yeah, it's just such a sort of inspiring, cause and institution, and people are, it's not very controversial, right? To want to be kind. And so there are like lots of companies who are just searching for something that they can like latch onto that is just good and pure and also based in science. So it has that sort of legitimacy behind it. So a lot of people wind up coming to us. Yeah.
And can you tell us more about maybe a favorite project or a favorite, research aspect?
Oh yeah. So the big one that we've been working on for a while now, and that like I've been the most involved in as well, is the kindness quotient, or the kindness questionnaire. So it's the KQ is what we're calling it. And it's just a new measure. It's a new psychology measure for measuring kindness and kind behavior. And it's based out of sort of evolutionary psychology research and something called a welfare trade-off ratio, which is sort of this idea of how much you value other people's welfare compared to your own. And that most people have this sort of internal level, this like metric where it becomes worth it to help other people. And sometimes the cost is too great, but the benefit is so great. And so there's this sort of this trade-off happening internally. And there was research on it sort of in the evolutionary psychology space. And it was based in like monetary trade-offs. So you put people in situations of like, would you rather have $5 or give someone else $10? You do these trade-offs, and we were able to take kind acts, like real world acts of kindness, and quantify them and attach costs and benefits to them by having them rated by thousands of people. And change that into sort of a similar measure. And we can find this number that is in people, that where it is worth it or not to be kind. And people behave pretty consistently with that number. So, each person's is different, but they tend to behave pretty consistently with the kind acts that we've collected. So it's been really fun and really, it was not necessarily my research area before. I wasn't familiar with the like evolutionary psychology welfare trade-off ratio space. So I got to learn all about it and then help actually develop this measure. And now it's out in the world and you can take it online, which is like fun and cool. And it's great to see people get like excited about what, to me, like all through grad school, I was like begging people to take. I was like, please come take my research, anyone. And now it's out there and it's beautiful and exciting, and people are taking it just for fun, and it's awesome.
I wrote it down, the KQ like an IQ, but kinder. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Right on the website to kindness.org. So wait, I'm intrigued now. Where does it go then? What do you do next with all of the research?
Yeah. So most of the research that we do, we're doing it. So we're following an academic model. We're going through an ethics review board, and then we're recruiting participants on usually like a participant recruitment platform. So there's a bunch of those, but and having them fill out the surveys, and then we're analyzing the data, and then we publish papers. So we publish in academic journals, just like sort of academic labs do. With the KQ, it's a little different because it's online and anyone can take it. And there is like a consent form that was approved by an ethics review board. So we do like have the green light to utilize that data in like academic research. We anonymize everything. There's no no identifying information attached and such, but we don't necessarily have any like hypotheses right now around that data, because we wanted it to be quick and fun, and we didn't want to bog people down with too many like other measures. So it's just the KQ and then like a singular happiness question. So we're looking at how those two things are correlated. With lots of past research that people who are more kind tend to be happier. So we sort of vaguely expect them to maintain that sort of correlation, but At this point, we may or may not actually be like publishing that research into any academic journals, or we might just, we definitely will be adding on to it and putting different versions of the KQ out. So right now, the one that is available, because also sort of asterisk, your kindness quotient is different depending on who the recipient of kindness is, right? Like you're going to be kinder to your friends and your family than you are to strangers or your coworkers. And so we've done research on all these different recipients, and the one that is live is for neighbors. But we are going to be putting up new ones as well. So seeing how those sort of are interrelated will be interesting. And yeah, so eventually we'd love to put all that together into a big paper for publication, but it'll be a long time coming.
This is really neat. Oh, it sounds like kindness.org has, a couple lanes there, and right. So you've got the academic research aspect, the publishing there. You've got the presentations, bringing the knowledge out. You've got the resources online. Oh my gosh, there's so many great resources. Am I missing one? Am I missing another lane?
A Learn Kind, I think, is our other sort of big product. So that's our curriculum for kindergarten through 8th grade. And that, we of course, it's based in research as well. And we did a randomized controlled trial too, to like prove that it was, efficient and that it worked and that it actually increased kindness and pro-social behavior in kids. So that's not published yet. It's still going back and forth with peer review, but it will be, fingers crossed, pretty soon, I think within the year for sure. And then that'll be out there in the world as well.
For teachers to utilize in their classrooms.
Yeah, so the curriculum is already out. The curriculum is available. It's free.
Okay.
But the research, the part that I'm involved in, my favorite part, is that it's ongoing.
Excellent. Chloe, I'm just having this flash. I feel like, I don't know why, I just feel like you're one of those people that I may have met out and about, and we're sitting somewhere waiting for something, and I just find out you have this a really awesome career that just is such a unique aspect, and it sounds like a dream. I mean, researching about kindness, that sounds fantastic, and I feel like this is exactly what I would be doing in regular life too, is just asking you 1,000 questions of wait, but what do you do on a day-to-day? How do you get to do it? So I'm just so excited to get to have this chance to hear about this field, because I'm also sure someone's listening going, I didn't know I could do that as a job and get paid for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I will say it is pretty unique. I don't think there's a ton of roles sort of just like this, but I mean, so when I was in graduate school, when I first started, so my degree is in experimental psychology, so not clinical work, not therapy, but sort of the research half of things. And I thought maybe I wanted to be a professor, and I taught while I did my master's degree, and then sort of realized I really did just like the research component, and I wanted to be able to focus just on doing research. So I did research in an applied setting, working for a national lab, actually looking at human factors stuff. And then I was able to go and look into more the people, not the products, because that was more what I wanted to research, was actually the individual and how individual behavior. So there are lots of jobs like that out in the world, but most of them are sort of, there's a lot of tech jobs, so UX research, how do people use technology, how do people use websites, those sorts of arenas. There's less and less about just sort of pure behavior out in the world, but there are some, government jobs, nonprofit jobs sort of scattered throughout that are looking for behavioral scientists for various reasons. But I really lucked out. I think this is a really unique.
That is so cool. And did you have keywords you were looking for in your job search? Like was it behavioral science? Was it experimental? What were those keywords?
Yeah. Behavioral science is definitely one of them. Research, which is a broad one, but it's true because there's so many things that are sort of titled research manager, research assistant, that sort of cover psychology areas, but some of them are so far off that it's not even close. So I was spending a lot of time as I was getting close to my end of my degree, just sort of looking through LinkedIn, sort of figuring that out, what are the terms I need to be searching. And I wasn't necessarily applying either when I found kindness.org. I was just sort of bookmarking things, tagging things, plotting. But when I saw it, I couldn't. I almost sent it to a friend actually who thought, this is it's part-time and maybe they could do it. And then the more I read about it, the more I was like, actually, I need to do this.
Right. And it takes a lot of time, right, in the job search just to figure out what to ask for, what to look for. So really neat to hear a little bit more about your journey there. And was kindness in general always a big focus in your life? Was it, I mean, you emanate this feeling of kindness and warmth, and you've had a smile on your face the whole time. I love it. Has this always been a part of you?
I think it has, but not necessarily in a research field, not in my career, you know. So I my background is in personality, with some well-being type research, specifically with like how people behave online and how that relates to our well-being. But it wasn't necessarily a research focus of mine. But no, it's always definitely been a part of my life. When I applied, I had just it again felt sort of silly and serendipitous, but I had just put a big bumper sticker on my car that said like "Be kind" with a big yellow smiley face.
Get out of town. I love it.
Yeah, I had just put that bumper sticker on my car, looking at it, and then I found this job, and I mentioned
That's
it.
fantastic. I love it. What do you feel like is the biggest, maybe, I hate to use this word, but because it sounds so like down compared to all this positive energy, but like the biggest threat to a kinder society today?
That's a good question. I mean, I think the research shows that we just really tend to underestimate like the impact that we can have with just small things. People tend to underestimate like how positive just a compliment can be, how beneficial it can be to someone else. They sort of overestimate how awkward it's going to be and how like it might get taken the wrong way. And I think a lot of people just have a lot of anxiety around doing sort of random acts of kindness or planned acts of kindness and putting themselves a little bit out of their comfort zone because it can feel kind of vulnerable. And yeah, I think people just don't understand necessarily how beneficial it can be and how much you can brighten someone's day. And, you can change the whole trajectory of someone's day, and just light it up with just, oh, I love your top. It doesn't take that much. I think that's definitely a threat. Yeah, just this sort of anxieties around putting yourself out there. Yeah.
Really great reminders. And these themes keep coming up in the show with guests of all different industries. Just that the reminder of how much impact we can have with something that might seem so small. So thank you for saying that and putting that different spin on it, because that's a really, really great reminder. And Chloe, I have to ask, what is the most rewarding thing about where you are right now? This combo of life and job and just all of it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it has to be when I get to talk to people about it. A lot of my work, a lot of academic work in general, a lot of research, you're in the numbers, you're in the data, it's sort of solo work as well. A lot of data analysis and collecting things and then writing up for publication. That's also kind of solo work. And I collaborate with my boss a lot, but it's all sort of computer mediated collaboration. So when I do get to just like be face to face with somebody and tell them about it or give a presentation or talk about whatever research we're doing, that to me is like the most invigorating, at least the most energizing to be like, yes, we're doing it. It sort of this will carry me through the rest of my day of data analysis for sure.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear it. It is so powerful, again, the human interaction, and it goes with that whole making an impact with something that seems small. Just having this interaction. I mean, I don't know about where, like on the West Coast, but on the East Coast, it's a rainy day. It's like, oh, it's cold. And now I feel so lifted up. And I mean, this is how it works when you start to connect with someone, especially someone who is so obviously doing something they're so passionate about. And theme of the whole podcast, right? Making the world a better place along the way, which you so clearly are. So Chloe, I can't thank you enough. And please tell everybody, where to find more about kindness.org and what you're doing. I mean, the resources online are amazing.
Yeah, I mean, the great thing is our name is the place to go, right? Kindness.org.
It's pretty straightforward.
Pretty straightforward on the website. Yeah, kindness.org on most of our socials. On Instagram, I've been able to collaborate a lot with our social media guy. We're doing like a kind facts series. So we're diving into research, not just our research, but all sorts of psychology research and pulling these really interesting little nuggets of research. And I get to read through them and help write it up really quickly and share it with others. So I love our Instagram page, just all their kind facts, but yeah, kindness.org on all the socials, I think. Yeah.
Oh, excellent, Chloe. Thank you so much. And all that'll be in the show notes as well. This was just such a wonderful conversation today.
Yeah, thank you so much. It really was.
Thanks for tuning in. If you found this helpful, a 5-star review, like, or comment means the world to me. And if you found insight in this episode, chances are someone else will too. Share with a friend to give them a boost today. Until next time, I'm Kate Cherichella-Tente, and this was Be the Good with Kate.